Infrastructure is not development, really. It is human capacity that is really development. The human mind. Until the human mind is advanced, the country will not be advanced. So a politician that steals 2 billion, 4 billion, he doesn't have an advanced mind. That politician is empty and petty. That is why you see he steals it. He's not looking for where to hide it. He can't use it. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to buy? What house do you want to build? How many cars do you want to ride? So the only thing you can do when you steal that money is to make you restless. You hide it. You begin to behave abnormally because you want to spend that money by all means. What you ought to buy for 2 naira, you will buy it for 2,000 naira. You want to conquer. You begin to misbehave. You look for who to buy guns for, so that you begin to terrorize the society and terrorize your people. It is the bane of underdevelopment. When a man steals 80 billion meant for infrastructure, meant for road and health system, that person is not advanced in thought. In fact, the person is a madman. It can only be madness to do such. So you have madness as governance in Nigeria. And you can see the consequences. The people grow poorer, while a few hijack the system. There's always consequences for it. Hopefully, we will not wait till we get to that point, till we get to the elastic limit. We will not wait. The right interventions will be made to save the land. So Dr. Okilo reads, and he makes the point that reading is more than intellectual pursuit. It is an act of political resistance. In a society where propaganda is loud, reading carefully, critically, and collectively can revive the ethical muscles of citizenship. To save Nigeria's democracy, he believes that legal reforms are necessary but insufficient. What the country truly needs is a cultural shift, one that restores democratic norms, revives public accountability, and awakens civic imagination. Citizens must learn again how to demand integrity, challenge power, and trust facts over fear. That kind of change, he insists, starts with thought, and thought begins with reading. I also challenge the university class, the university system. I challenge the lecturers. I challenge my professor friends, my lecturer friends, to have a deeper reflection and say, have they really contributed good enough for cultural revival, mental redemption? Have they? I challenge the journalists. Have we contributed enough to mental revival? Because if we don't create mental revival, and you now have a revolution, another madman will hijack the revolution and will still be dancing on the same spot. That's why when I hear revolution, I say, hey, wait. If you have a revolution now, it might be 50-50. Another madman takes it. And if a gentleman takes it, before you know it, he becomes mad to keep the power. Because you need to be mad to keep power in a chaotic system. You become dictatorial. So we need mental revival. Dr. Dunyode Bowale was talking about the curriculum, our system of learning. What do we teach our children? What do we learn? You see, the kind of change Dr. Okilo is talking about starts with thought. And thought is the work of thinking. Men like Awolowo was a thinker. Awolowo was thinking. Who is thinking? We need thinkers. Where are the thinkers? Awolowo was thinking. Who is thinking? Let's listen to Awo. You know, he talks about those he writes for and the kind of society he wants. Any of them can go. Listen to Awo.
I must warn that I have written only for those Nigerians who are prepared to learn, to study, to make painstaking research, to absorb prejudices, and to think systematically and constructively. Up to now, it is the habit with many of us to approach the titanic, intricate, and pressing problems of our country with blameworthy casualness, insufficient study and research, loose and desultory thinking, supercilious complacency, deep-seated negativity, and insensate partisanship. I've deliberately ventured to invite all our leaders in particular, and the entire body of educated Nigerians in general, to a more serious, more objective, more thoughtful, more constructive, and more altruistic approach to our economic, political, and social problems.
State Affairs with Edmondo Below is live.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria.
State Affairs with Edmondo Below is live.
But I must warn that I have written only for those Nigerians who are prepared to learn, to study, to make painstaking research, to absorb prejudices, and to think systematically and constructively. Up to now, it is the habit with many of us to approach the titanic, intricate, and pressing problems of our country with blameworthy casualness, insufficient study and research, loose and desultory thinking, supercilious complacency, deep-seated negativity, and insensate partisanship. I've deliberately ventured to invite all our leaders in particular, and the entire body of educated Nigerians in general, to a more serious, more objective, more thoughtful, more constructive, and more altruistic approach to our economic, political, and social problems.
State Affairs with Edmondo Below.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria.
State Affairs with Edmondo Below